So Jesus and the disciples are on a boat. Big storm hits, and Jesus is fast asleep. The disciples, freaking out for their lives, wake Jesus up. So Jesus calms the storm, turns to his disciples, and rebukes them. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Podium of Truth, where God's message is our mission. Have you ever felt like life is just smacking you around? Like you're in a little boat, and the waves of bills and stress and life's drama is just trying to drown you. And you cry out to Jesus for help, but it feels like he's taking a nap. Well, I got news for you. He might be resting on the throne, but if he's not worried, why are we? Today we're going to talk about peace in the storm. So let's turn our Bibles to Mark chapter 4, verse 35. And it says, "On the same day, when evening had come, Jesus said to them, let us cross over to the other side. Now, when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that it was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a pillow, and they awoke him and said to him, 'Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?'" Now let's set the record straight. These disciples were not weaklings. Some of these guys were fishermen, professional fishermen, so they know a thing or two about a boat. And I'm not going to lie, if they were scared, I probably would have been scared too. So what's Jesus doing? He's knocked out asleep. You know, we all have that one friend who just sleeps through the storms. And I can imagine the disciples in this story freaking out, looking at Jesus and like, "Are you serious right now?" But look, what shakes you does not shake Jesus. What shocks you does not shock Jesus. Because the truth is, he saw the storm before he ever got in the boat. Moving on to verse 39, "Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Peace, be still.' And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." Look at what Jesus did here. He didn't freak out. He didn't panic. He didn't get a bucket to start putting water out of the boat. He spoke. And there's too many of us telling God how big our storm is when we should be telling our storms how big our God is. You got fear? Tell it, "Peace, be still." You got bills stacking up? Tell them that God will supply your needs. If he will provide for the sparrow, he will provide for you. You have anxiety? Tell it that the Lord is your shepherd. He's watching over you. You don't have to fight the storm. You just have to stand in faith and tell it what God already said. And then there's this next part that we often overlook. Jesus turns around and then rebukes his disciples. Verse 40 it says, "But he said to them, 'Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith?'" Now, let's be honest here. If we were in that boat, it would be very easy to say, "Well, Jesus, the boat was sinking." But Jesus is saying here, "You've seen me heal the sick. You've seen me cast out demons. How is it that you still won't trust me?" And Jesus is saying that same thing to us today. He's provided for you before. He's protected you before, brought you through all the storms in the past. So why is it that we're still afraid? I don't know about you, but I sometimes have the mind of a goldfish. I completely forget. But let's take a look at something back in verse 35. It says, "Let us cross over to the other side." That's what Jesus said. He never said, "Hey, let's go sink in the middle of the lake." He said, "Let's cross over to the other side." If Jesus said that you're crossing over to the other side, there is no storm that can stop you. As long as you are in the boat with Jesus, you are unsinkable. Your finances might be shaky. Your relationships might be a little rocky. The devil might be throwing everything he has at you, but you are unsinkable. So let's stop freaking out about the storm and start focusing on the Savior. Easier said than done, I know. But storms will come, waves will rise, but as long as you are in the boat with Jesus, you will make it to the other side. So thank you for watching the Podium of Truth, spreading the gospel best way we know how.